Hi friends, welcome to English Study Point. Today here in this video lecture, I am going to discuss with you about an important autobiography by Omprakash Valmiki ji, that is Joothan. So Joothan is a food that was already eaten by somebody else, and leftover of that particular food was given to or offered to people who are lower in ranks. So this is Joothan, and this particular work describes about the sad plight of people who belongs from Chuda community, who is an untouchable community to whom Om Prakash Valmiki ji himself is a part of. And also we see that these community means Chuda community people have to work forcefully under the people belonging from higher sections of society, and they have to obediently follow their orders, and also they have to do the roles that was assigned to them by the people belonging from higher sections of society, and they are not allowed to resist against the injustices that was done on them by the people belonging from higher section of society. The minute they try to resist, then they have to bear horrific consequences of it in the form of uh, death, as well as torture, as well as they are cruelly beaten. And even we will see in this work that police, who is meant to provide justice to his innocent citizens, this police, they shaken hands with people who belongs from upper sections of society, and together police as well as high class people, they are trying to exploit people who are lower in position, or people who belongs from this Chuda community. And also high caste people treats these people, means Chuda people, as discarded objects, and also they think that they are only useful to them if they follow their orders obediently. The minute they try to resist against their or deny their orders that was shouldered upon them by the people belonging from higher sections of society, so at that point of time they discard them if they try to resist against the injustices that was done to them by these people belonging from higher section of society. So this is what this particular work is about. Now Om Prakash Valmiki ji seen stark reality of this world at the start of his childhood, that painful experiences set deep in his memories, and he is narrating that through this particular work. And also we see that in this biography, this autobiography, that this autobiography is depiction of the untouchable self of the author, which has been an emotional experience, existential experience for him since childhood, and even after his becoming an established author. So and also in this autobiography he records how he came in contact with several people, and these people positively influenced him, and he tried to develop his acquaintance with them, and when he got himself acquainted with them, so he ultimately got the opportunity to display his creative faculty in theater, that also inspired his own in dramatic performances as well as creative writings. Now I am starting with this video lecture. So Joothan refers to scraps of food left on a plate. So this is Joothan is a kind of food that was already eaten by somebody else and offered to those who are lower in ranks. And this work was published originally in Hindi in 1997 and published from Hindi into English by a person called Arun Prabha Mukherjee. So, in his preface to the Hindi edition of Joothan, he says that those experiences that did not manage to find room in literary creations. So, by this statement, he tries to say readers as that he went through, or he have been through such horrific experiences, that he that even after going through such horrific experiences, he is not left with energy to explain everything about his experiences in this work. He only described major portions of his horrific experiences in this particular work, and by this particular statement he wants to convey that he went through much and many more experiences which he left to describe, but he mentioned some portions of his horrific experiences, and his experiences are many that they even won't find a room in this literary creation. Then, and also he tries to narrate his childhood experiences in the village, his painful life, which is full of tortures, humiliation by his school teacher as well as his classmate who belongs from high class society. So these kind of people tries to teach him at every phase of life, calling him Chudekha because he belongs from Chuda community. So that's why people as well as his classmate tries to tease him, calling him Chudekha. So narrates his childhood experience in the village, his painful school life, and his growing up as one of the Chuda and untouchable caste. So he also tries to depict that they people belonging from Chuda community, they are not allowed to live in the mainstream of village. They are only perfect to live at the outskirts or at the periphery of the village boundary. So you can see here that people who belong from higher sections of society, they won't allow them to live in the mainstream of the village. They have to they force them to live they force such community, that is Chuda community, to live at the outskirts, at the periphery of the village boundary. So this work narrates his childhood experiences in the village, his painful school life, and his growing up as one of the Chuda and untouchable caste. And also we see here in this work that his experiences in his childhood are such horrific that he a lot has remained unsaid as he could not manage to record them all. So he is not left with much energy to describe each and everything in his work. So that is why he is only trying to make a reader confronts with the horrific major portions of his horrific experiences. Now, his humiliation which he encountered in school. And also we see here in this work that school became the first space where there is realization, where Om Prakash Valmiki ji realized the reality of untouchability, and he in this work recounting the scenario when he got admitted in the government school. So at that point of time, he came in contact with other high caste children there, as he was the one from the Chura community. Untouchability became part of his day to day experience, because he at every point of time, as well as not nobody spares him from teasing, not even his teacher, not even his schoolmaster, as well as his own classmates who belong from high section of society. They always try to tease him, and as a result of it, he got emotional uh, turmoil, or emotionally uh, shattered. Untouchability was officially an offense, a legal crime in independent India, but in terms of real experience, it remained the same with hardly any difference whatsoever. So he tries to, Om Prakash Valmiki ji, by this expression, tries to make readers realize that people preach something but practice something else. So here we see that untouchability was officially an uh, offense. So if we call somebody as untouchable, that was considered as an offense, and it is a legal crime in independent India, but in terms of real experience. And now Om Prakash ji wants to realize us, or wants to make the reader realize the real experience, that even there is an officially a law regarding this, but still people practice untouchability. It means that people preach something but practice something else. And also he mocked at as chudekha by the fellow student as well as by his teacher. So you can see the emotional uh, turmoil that he is again and again facing, and he got emotionally shattered by listening to such teases as well as insults from his teachers as well as his classmates. Then, and in this line, that is Valmiki's achievement in school, he would be a victim of social ostracization, but his fate would hardly change in the given circumstances. So we can see that he was always allowed to live in an isolation, and in that particular circumstance, nobody can change, nobody can develop, and nobody can develop his personality at any cost, because he is living in a social turmoil, and again and again he is continuously bearing insults, tortures, as well as several teases by his classmates as well as teachers. So in that particular circumstance, how it is possible to develop his personality, so he is trying to highlight in these sentences. And then Valmiki writes, during the examination we could not drink water from the glass. So here you can see that these people are not even allowed to drink water when they are thirsty during the time of examination. They have to take permission, and they have to always bring cup, and in those cup, so peon of that school want to this particular person, that is peon, gives them water over their cups, and they are not allowed to even drink or access to such basic rights, and not drink water by themselves, because they have committed a sin of living in such a community, that is Chuda community. That is why such kind of treatment is given to them, that they even are not allowed to access to basic rights. So during the examination, we could not drink water from the glass when thirsty. To drink water, we had to cup our hands. So they have to always bring cup along with them if they have to drink water in the during the thirsty time. They are not even allowed to take water by themselves. So, school peon pour water from away up high up, lest our hands touch the glass. So here you can see that they have to bring cups with them, and in that cups, peon used to pour water, and then they are allowed to drink water. Then, and also untouchability outside the school. Not only this untouchability is practiced inside the school, but also outside the school. And he also by these statements tries readers to understand his emotions by giving this statement. Valmiki as well as Bhiku Ram, they make a trip. So these two persons, Valmiki as well as Bhiku Ram, they undertake a trip to their teacher's village to bring a sack of wheat. And after, what happens when they come, they came with a sack of wheat from their teacher's village. When they come, they receive a kind of hospitality by this teacher, whose name is Brajpal Singh Tyagi. He offered them to sit, and also he offered them food by himself. So this person Brajpal Singh Tyagi, when these two person Valmiki as well as Bhikuram, they returns from Brajpal Singh's village after bringing this sack of wheat. So this person gives them hospitality in the form of offering a seat in their home as well as serving food to them. But when this person came to know about their caste, he became so angry that he took out a stick from underneath the cot and beat Bhikuram while hurling abuses. So after getting aware about their caste, this person, this teacher as well as an elderly man, Brajpal Singh Tyagi, he started beating Bhikuram while continuously abusing him. And also in this by this expression, we also turn on to realize that The author experience means Valmiki ji here experiences experiencing how merely by coming to know about their caste, people would instantly change their attitude towards them. So here in this statement, we see the expression Brajpal Singh Tyagi, after knowing about their class as well as caste, he constantly changes his attitude. First of all, he is giving them hospitality by offering seat as well as serving them food. But after a minute or after a while, when he comes to know about their identity, he started abusing or hurling abuses to them as well as started beating them. So here Om Prakash Valmiki ji experiencing that how instantly Brajpal Singh constantly changed his attitude towards them. Now, this sufferings of his family. Now we here in this work, we also see that Om Prakash Valmiki ji suffered a lot because they belong from Chura community. So he tries to recollect the poor condition of his family where everyone did something or the other odd works to afford meals for day and night time. They did all sorts of work for the Tyagis. So they did all sorts of work for the Tyagis, the higher caste people, including cleaning, working in their farms, and doing journal labor. So here we see that people belonging from Chura community, for earning their living or for earning a meal for day as well as night time, they they are doing in intense hard work, and in response to it they are given Joothan, which was a food that was already eaten by somebody else. So they only received contempt and humiliation from the Tyagi family. Their only identity to the Tyagis was that they were churas. They were dehumanized and reduced to mere commodities to serve the high caste. The utility of Chura community lasted till they had use value and exchange value for the bourgeois. All these physical torture was perpetuated to create a kind of fear psychosis among the low caste Bhangis as a consequence of their denial to work free for the Tyagis. So here there is a representation of the author himself, who becomes a forced child laborer in the field of Tyagi family, and his mother engagement as a worker in cleaning the cow heads in exchange of Joothan. The leftover food brings the terrible dimension of inhuman social oppression that was experienced by Valmiki ji. So they did all sorts of work. Now I am reading these lines. I have already provided you with an explanation. So they did all sorts of work for the Tyagis, the high caste people, including cleaning in their farms and doing journal labor, work without any wages. Nobody had the courage to protest against such oppression of unpaid labor. Like I have already said in the beginning of this video lecture, that they do not have courage to protest against such injustices that was done by people belonging from higher sections of society to these people who belong from Chura community. They are not paid for the work, because these people think that they won't even means that Chura community people don't deserve wages, because they treat them as animals who are considered good for nothing by these people. Chudas were not seen as human beings, rather a thing to use. And yes, we see that here in these lines, that they consider them as discarded objects. Only when they work, means only when people belonging from Chura community tries to work for them obediently, since then they are useful to them, means people belonging from higher sections of society. The minute they try to oppose against the injustice or revolt back against the injustices that was done by them, uh, so at that time they discard these people. So, in Valmiki's words, their utility lasted until the work was done. They used them and then throw them away. So here we see that they treat these Chura community people as discarded objects. Now, when the young men of Valmiki Basti refused to work for the Tagas without, they were brutally tortured by the help of the police. So here we also see that police, who is meant to provide justice to innocent citizens, here police himself is involved in this crime of exploiting people, Chura community people. The police captured the men from the Basti and thrashed them publicly. So you can see the treatment that was given to these people by higher authorities, including police as well as people belonging from higher sections of society. The people watched the event mutely without any protest. Yes, we can also sense that they are not even allowed to oppose as well as revolt back against the injustices that was done to them by their side. The women and children of the Basti howled loudly as their men were captured by the police for the no reason. So these women as well as children, they gossip with each other that their uh, men was captured police without any reason. And after going to prison, these people were cruelly as well as badly beaten and cruelly tortured, and also condition came such that they are even killed by police if they excessively revolt against these dominant authorities. Valmiki writes, no one had the courage to ask the head constable. Means here that Chura community cannot question to people belonging from higher sections of society such as head constable why he was being beaten. He cannot even allowed to question that for what reason he was being beaten, what crime he had been committed. So these questions cannot be uh, raised by the Chura community. If they dare to raise, then they have to suffer from horrific consequences of it, and they have to even suffer death if they try to ask such questions from the dominant authorities. Then with this particular video lecture ends here. Hope this video lecture will help you in your UGC NET English literature exams, and also I am again making another part of this video lecture in which I am covering rest sections of this particular autobiography.